All right, today we're tackling project management. But look, we're not talking about boring old task lists and deadlines. No, we're going to look at it for what it really is, a powerful engine for creating value. Yeah, most of us probably think of project management as, just a fancy to-do list. But what if I told you it's actually one of the most powerful strategic tools any organization can have? See, it's not just about doing things right. It's about doing the right things in the first place, the things that create real, lasting value. And when I say value, I'm not kidding around. Get a load of this number, 42 billion pounds. That's the estimated economic kickback to the UK from just one project, London's Elizabeth Line. That's not just a successful project, that is a nation-changing outcome. So the big question is, how, right? How does a bunch of tasks and timelines and teams actually create that kind of insane impact? Well, guess what? That's exactly what we're going to break down right now. Okay, so to really get our heads around that 42 billion pound number, we first have to talk about what project value even means. It's all about the benefits a project creates, the good stuff that happens long after the last box is ticked. And that brings us to a really important term, a project benefit. So a benefit isn't the thing you build, like the actual railway line itself. Nope. It's the measurable value that line creates. It's the positive change it brings into the world for everyone. And here's where it gets really interesting. Because that value, those benefits, they don't always have a price tag. They actually come in two totally different flavors. So on one side, you've got your tangible benefits. This is the stuff you can literally count, right? Money, market share, new equipment, easy. But then on the other side, you have the intangible benefits, and these are just as crucial. Things like brand recognition, public goodwill, or just making sure everyone's pulling in the same direction. I mean, you can't put a number on a great reputation, but man, you feel it when it's there. So here's the thing. The really great organizations, they don't just cross their fingers and hope this stuff happens. No way. They have a strategic playbook that's designed to create this value on purpose, from the very top of the company all the way down to the ground floor. And that playbook has a name. It's called Organizational Project Management, or OPM for short. Just think of it like the master blueprint that connects the big, grand strategy of a company directly to the actual work getting done. It's what makes sure every single project is part of a bigger mission. So how does it work? Well, it's kind of like a waterfall. Right at the top, you have the portfolio level. This is where the big bosses ask, are we even working on the right stuff to hit our goals? Below that, you've got the program level, which groups similar projects together to make sure they're working in harmony. And finally, you get to the project level. That's where the rubber meets the road and the actual work gets done. So the strategy flows down and the value flows back up. Simple as that. Okay, that's enough theory. It's all great on paper, but let's see how this playbook actually works in the real world. We're going to dive into some absolutely fantastic UK case studies. First up, let's talk about a true giant, the London 2012 Olympics. I mean, think about it. This was never just about throwing a 2-week party. It was a massive, decade-long mission to create a legacy that would last for generations. And this is just a perfect example of that mix of benefits we were talking about. On the tangible side, you had the huge regeneration of East London and all those amazing new venues for the public. But the intangible stuff, that incredible feeling of national pride, the boost to tourism, that was just as valuable. And it wasn't an accident, it was all part of the plan from day one. Okay, so let's switch gears. We're going from a massive physical project to a digital one. Let's look at the DVLA's move to go digital. This was a huge government project aimed at making things way more efficient and just better for millions of people. And just look at that shift. Over 96% of transactions are now online. That's huge. So the tangible benefit? Massive cost savings for taxpayers. But the intangible benefit is maybe even bigger. It saved us a ton of time and made dealing with a government agency, not a total headache. All right, let's jump over to the private sector. Check this out. Rolls-Royce didn't just tweak a product. They launched a project that completely flipped their business model on its head. It was called Total Care. So instead of just selling jet engines, they started selling power by the hour. Airlines literally pay for the time the engine is working. Now think about that. Suddenly, it's in Rolls-Royce's best interest to make their engines as reliable as humanly possible. It's a total win-win. Their success is tied directly to their customer success, and it even made the engines last 25% longer. Genius. Okay, for our last example, we're going to what might be the most important sector of all, healthcare. The Y Valley NHS Trust kicked off a project to completely digitize the way they handle medicine, from prescribing it to giving it to patients. And the results were, wow, just immediate and massive. Tangible savings of up to 5% on meds every year, that's a huge deal. But the intangible benefit? You can't even measure it. It's improved patient safety. This project wasn't about saving money, not really. It was about saving lives. So we've looked at massive stadiums, government websites, jet engines, and hospitals. What's the one big idea? The common thread that ties all of these completely different things together? It's this. Super simple, but incredibly powerful. Projects, drive, change. That's it. They are literally how we make things happen in the world. They're the bridge, right? They're how we take a big, ambitious goal, like rebuilding part of a city or making hospitals safer, and turn it into real-world value that you and I can actually see and feel. So I want to leave you with a question to chew on. Just think about it for a second. The smartphone in your hand, the app you use every day, maybe even the road you took to work, what project has actually fundamentally changed your life? And one last thought. Let's flip it around. If you had the budget, if you had the team, if you could launch any project you wanted, what change would you bring to the world? What value would you create?